Okay, something else I'm doing on the plot today. These sunflowers I've grown from seed and they've been in the greenhouse, but they're getting quite big now for these pots, so I'm going to plant them. So I've decided a nice place, I think, is central, where this log is. By the way, I've got nasturtium seeds in this log, look at that, so they're going to be growing nicely out of there. So I think this will be a nice place, right in the centre of the plot, to have some big towering sunflowers, so I can tie them all together into canes. They won't be in my way and they'll look like a little feature, so let's get these planted. Okay, I need to show you something absolutely awesome. So I've just dug all this wood chip out, so I want to get to the actual topsoil layer that was there before, which was all weeds, grass, everything. All I've done is put cardboard down and covered with layers and layers of wood chip. Now look at this. I found the topsoil layer in this trench. I don't know if you can see the size of what I've dug out here. And you see that log? You go down through the different layers, that's all decomposing wood chip, all feeding and mulching. And then you get down to this soil layer. Look at that. Kind of nice size. So I'm going to be able to plant these sunflowers straight into that soil, mulch around with the wood chip that's already rotting down. Okay, and let's see how they get on. Yeah, I've decided just to plant the tallest three because it was quite deep actually, the trench, so you can see how they're standing out of the ground. I've also added some compost just to help. I think there's a stray leek growing there as well, so I'll leave that, let's see how that does. And I've add some compost in. Okay, so now I'm going to water all that in. Before it gets mulched over. You can see how that moisture now is already going to be there, and then it's going to get mulched over. There's still a bit of cardboard there that came out. I'll bang that back in. I'll get the most decomposed stuff that came out first, put that in, which is all this here. Now it's just a case of brushing that over, which is quite hard to do while I'm filming with one hand. So I'll just pause the video and you can see the finished result. Okay, there we are. Back to weeding sunflowers. You saw how deep they were buried in some compost, nicely mulched around, so they're not planted actually in the wood chip. They're planted in topsoil and compost, and then they're mulched over with the wood chip. That's the key. So there's no nitrogen sapping from the wood chip. None of that. The roots are all going underneath there in that trough, in that drill, whatever you want to call it. And I expect these to do really well. So I won't stake them today. I'll let them get a bit of stability themselves in the soil and in the wind and encourage them to root, and then I'll stake them up when they get a bit bigger. So that's your back to Eden sunflowers.